Our Story Productions presents Martin County on TV, spotlighting the organizations, businesses, and citizens who are making a difference in our community today. And with interviews and stories done by local television shows over the last 25 years, here you're sure to learn more about the county we call home. Get ready, for this is Martin County on TV.
Hi, my name is Sarah Striemer. I am the principal of St. John Vianney Catholic School here in Fairmont, Minnesota. And today is the debut of our show, Educating with Faith, brought to you by St. John Vianney School here in Fairmont. Today I have a very special guest with me, Abby Ruppert. She is the president of our St. John Vianney School Board. Welcome, Abby.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
We're going to talk a little bit about what St. John Vianney has to offer and some of our annual events that we have each year. Abby, can you share a little bit with us about why you and your husband send your girls to St. John Vianney?
Sure, yeah. That's a super hard question. There's a long list of items that I can think of why we send our kids to St. John Vianney. One of the reasons is that it is a Catholic-based school. We are like a little community. You walk through the halls, you feel the love, you feel the compassion. So it's such a great place for our kids to be. It's like a second family. We know if we need anything at all, the school, the parents, the kids are always there for us. We are so proud to be a part of this community.
Awesome. What do you think about the education that your girls get at St. John Vianney?
Yes, my girls receive excellent education. Not only the basic math, science, they also learn about religion, and we are so proud to teach that in our house and see it in our kids.
Yeah. Do your girls enjoy attending Mass every Wednesday?
They do, yes. I love that the school encourages our kids to get up and speak at Mass. It makes them have confidence, makes them, be proud of who they are.
Yeah, very good, very good. So, do you want to talk a little bit about some of the events that we've had so far?
St. John Vianney has a lot of fun events that we have throughout the year, so I'm going to kind of just talk about it and let Sarah go in detail about it. Let's talk a little bit about our marathon.
So our marathon was our first big fundraiser that we had this school year. The kids go out and for about 2 weeks they ask community members to donate money to the school. They just go door to door and ask for donations. Some of them get a flat rate donation. Some of them get a donation per lap, which is really fun because then the day of the marathon we walk for about 2 hours, and some of them get like $5 a lap, $1 a lap, whatever. Our priest, Father Bierman, he runs the whole time during the marathon, which was really great for the kids to see. They try to keep up with him, and none of them ever can. This year we raised almost $17,000 for the school, which was amazing. And so we are really, really grateful for all of the community support for that fundraiser.
Yeah, not only do they run, they also have dance parties. So
yes.
It makes it a lot of fun for the kids.
Super fun.
Yes. Another event that we have going on now looks like we have basketball that's full schedule going on.
Yeah, so we had our first basketball game this week, and we have our Ray Russell tournament that's coming up. That's also a fundraiser for our basketball program, basketball and cheer program. The kids have a ton of fun. We usually play the area Lutheran schools, and it's just a really great community builder for our school and for our community.
Yes, great to see that. It sounds like we just had an event for Gifts from the Heart, giving back to our community.
Yeah, so we have two kind of philanthropy projects that we do in the fall. The first one is the Harvest Mass that we do in October, and that is to fill our Hope Shop, get our Hope Shop with food for people to use during Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then we just recently did our Gifts from the Heart prayer service where the kids bring in toys and personal care items to for the Salvation Army to use during Christmas.
So nice to see that. Let's talk a little bit about our annual events that we have that SJV offers.
So I think our best event that we offer for our adults is our dinner dance that kicks off Catholic Schools Week. That takes place the last weekend in January. Would you agree that it's a lot of fun?
It's a lot of fun.
What is your favorite part of the dinner dance?
I like the auction on the silent auction. They actually have people that are auctioneering, so people are raising their hands, bidding against each other. It's so fun to see.
Yeah, so my favorite part of that is honestly getting all dressed up, because that's not something that we do very often. So it's kind of fun to get all fancy and just see everybody dressed up and going and having a nice meal. We have our featured alumni speaker each year. Sometimes we have them fly in from the East Coast, the West Coast, because they just love our school so much that they want to come back and tell people about how great it is and how much it really improved their life. Then we also honor a friend of St. John Vianney each year. We have the live auction, and then this year we get to have a band, which will be a lot of fun. Our KCs do an annual $100 raffle also, and they do the drawing for those tickets that night. Over the years, since 2005, they have given us $617,000 through that raffle, which is amazing. They've given away over $400,000 in cash prizes as well. So it's a pretty amazing deal that we have going on here with our Knights of Columbus in Fairmont.
We're very grateful for them. Very grateful.
For sure.
Looks like we have a new event that's coming, the comedy night. Let's hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we decided that we needed to just have kind of a laid-back, fun event, and we're going to have a comedian come in, and we're going to have food and just socializing, and something that you talked about earlier about how our kids have this little family at St. John Vianney. We have that with the adults within the building too. And so this is another way for our families to just get to know each other better and to develop more of a community. So
sounds like it's going to be a fun event.
It will be.
If someone wants more information about our school, Sarah, where could they go?
Well, we have a great presence on the internet, on our website. You can find all kinds of information. We also post daily on our Facebook page. And so those are great places for people to go and find out what we're doing and upcoming events that we have at school. We look forward to visiting with each of you a couple more times during this year and talking about all of the great things that we have going on at St. John Vianney. So we will see you again in a few months. Everybody have a great day.
Martin County on TV, a second look.
We have two very special guests today.
Hi, I'm Paul Ruen, a veterinarian and partner at the Fairmont Veterinary Clinic.
Well, welcome. And we have,
Mike Wubbenna, Preferred Capital Management, CFO.
well, gentlemen, we're glad you're here and glad you're going to tell us a little bit about the business that most of us know is in town. But tell the folks a little bit about the company and how it all began.
Sure will, Jeff. Yeah, it's a good story. I think when you think of Fairmont and Martin County, you think of a lot of pork, right? You
Absolutely.
think of bacon. Bacon capital USA. And so our business started out in 1959 as a solo veterinary practice, Dr. Dave Johnson, and his wife began the practice. And so beginning with a staff of 2 in 1959 that serviced farms in the area, pets in the area, really all classes of all species of animals. It's changed and developed just like agriculture has over the years. And today we have a staff of 9 veterinarians and 33 other people that work with us at the clinic in PCM. And we're involved primarily now with clients that have pigs.
How big an area do you cover?
Well, today I would say about 50% of our business is within about a 30 to 40 mile radius, and then the other half of the business gets out into 4 or 5 states in the upper Midwest.
Oh, really? Okay, so you
pretty
do have
extensive.
some presence throughout the part of the Midwest.
We sure do. Yep. And a lot of it is connections. Some of the farms locally have part of their business in other places, and some of it is just growing by word of mouth and hopefully good service and opportunities to help other family farmers. And that's the industry has changed. The swine industry's got a lot more specialized. Farming's got more specialized. Some people only raise corn and soybeans. Some only do dairy. We work primarily with people that raise pigs and all different sizes of farms, but they're all independent family farmers.
Now, when you say sizes of farms, are any of them corporate farms, or are they primarily individually family-owned type of?
They're family-owned. They may have a corporate structure. That's
Right,
just
sure.
a business term, an incorporated or a partnership or a LLC. Those are just terms to describe the legal structure, I guess, of their business. But they're all families that have continued to make their living off the farm.
So what would you say is the biggest change in your company or even the industry?
Well, I would say that the changes in our company probably reflect the industry. So we've tried to adapt just like farmers have adapted to demands of the consumer, to changing business practices. And so it's probably not just one change, but it's a lot of them. We started offering some management services as we saw needs that our clients had to help with HR, to help with a genetic plan for their farm, to help with nutrition. And so training. There's just a lot of things that we provide as part of our management services. And Michael talk a little bit about that. But from a farm aspect, I would say that agriculture is starting to get very connected in terms of how the food's raised. People want to know how their food's raised. And that's a very different thing today. There's way better information and the flow of information. You think of all the different ways we learn about things on our smartphones. You know, it's not just radio and TV anymore and newsprint. It's coming at us by the minute. And so we have an opportunity to tell our story better. And it's also an opportunity to tie, I think, things that happen on the farm and integrate decisions all the way through to the food you pick out in the store or in the restaurant. In 1987, we got started really on some management services and formed a company called Preferred Capital Management, or PCM, that really coordinates those types of activities.
Of course.
And so Mike can jump in and talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I mean, number one, I think the biggest thing is building a team. So essentially we take a farm ownership structure, which a lot of our farms will have 5 families involved in them.
Okay.
The idea of economies of scale, we need to have a bigger sow farm that's got a consistent pig flow, and we have to have that to compete in the industry today. You know, the capitalism margins get shrunk. So that was the kind of thought process behind that. So the families come together, they decide to build one sow farm, and that's where PCM steps in and says, okay, we can help you guys build a team from an HR perspective that are going to manage the sow farm. And at the same time, we're going to work with the Fairmont Vet Clinic to build a production and health plan. And then another level too is talk about genetics. Genetics have become a very important part of the industry today. If you don't have the right genetics and the pig's not going to perform after it leaves the sow farm, you're going to be out of the industry quicker than you can ever even imagine. So that's even a big part of our business, is helping all these family farms and companies that they're involved in keep that competitive edge from a
So when you say working with these family farms, do you meet with them on a consistent basis? Do you have meetings periodically, convention? What kind of things?
Some meet monthly, some meet quarterly, some meet yearly.
As needed.
Yep, and there's no boards. They all come together and make decisions together. Our goal is to give them options and help them make a decision. That's all we're there to do, is use our expertise, use our knowledge, give them options, give them as much information as they need to make the decision. Because at the end of the day, it's their business. If they're not successful, we can't be successful.
Obviously, the more knowledge they have about the industry, about the best way to run their business, all of that helps them and you be more successful.
We're fortunate. We have in Martin County and beyond, this part of the country, some real progressive farmers. And they want to do things right. They want to adapt the technologies or the new information that helps them improve, helps them do a better job, produce a better product. And so it's really a synergy. It's a teamwork between our companies and the farms we work with to just kind of as a group get better. We want to be able to compete with companies that maybe own everything from the farm all the way through to the grocery store.
Sure.
The integrators, we say, and the international companies that we have to compete with too. Over 30% of pork is exported today. That's a huge change from 1959 when we were a net importer.
So as a veterinarian, how has the duties of a veterinarian changed over the years?
I do very little of what I was trained to do. Does that make sense? That's kind of scary for everybody to hear. Maybe they know that if they've worked with me. But, in veterinary college, you're really trained to be a diagnostician. You're trained to figure out what the problem is.
Sure.
And then later, you develop solutions to that problem and work with the client to figure out what the best solution is. So that piece hasn't changed. That's still what we're about as a company, is trying to solve problems and make things better. But in 1959 and even earlier in my career, a lot of it was individual animal care. I'd be called out to look at sick animals, whether it was cattle or
Sure.
a group of pigs, a small group of pigs, and get a health plan put together to fix whatever was the ailment. Today, the scale, as we talked, has changed so much, and we work much more acutely on preventive medicine. I earlier in the week on Tuesday, I was at a farm where the last 9 months were spent doing what we call a herd closure to try and upgrade the health at that farm. And so we didn't bring any new replacement animals, which we call gilts.
Sure.
In the pig farm. The replacement females are gilts. We didn't bring anything in. We wanted that whole population, which was about 2,500 sows, to be stabilized so that we could eliminate some diseases that were giving us trouble. Well, that's way more cost effective and a lot better plan for a farm, and has longer term benefits, in terms of efficiencies and better quality pigs, better quality pork.
Much different than the veterinary coming out to our farm when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and taking a look at one pig and then going back to town.
But so many pieces involved.
Sure.
Working with the nutritionist, working with all the people on the farm, the staff, to make sure that we have that timeline laid out right and people are following the right procedures and so on. And so there's a lot of opportunity today even to make a big impact, but the kinds of things we spend time on, we do research projects at our clinic, both on medication and other input products, but also on genetics. We team up with other groups a lot of times to do genetic projects. So there's continues to be a lot of opportunity to get better.
So your life is completely different than you probably had planned when you went to school.
The veterinarian that came out to the farm I grew up on, and we had hogs and we had beef cattle
Sure.
and raised crops, and my brother had some sheep, and it was very diversified. I had an uncle that dairy farmed a mile down the road. That vet serviced all of that.
Absolutely.
And today, just like in human medicine, we're just much more specialized.
Sure.
Because the information explodes and we just can't be good at everything.
That makes sense.
So we want to be really good at the things that we spend our time on.
Tell us a little bit about the scale of your operation and how that affects the community.
Locally, I would say there's probably $300 million of revenue
Really?
that is done on a business level, and I'm not going to say all of it comes back, but a large portion of it comes back to the community, because like what we talked about, these are family-owned farms. So even beyond just the genetic piece or the HR piece that we help these farms manage with, we get into any other manufacturing company, we get into the financial side of things with these guys. Animal welfare, compliance, audits, anything you can imagine from a business perspective, PCM is there to help and be there for the farmers. And we even talk about market share, that 300 million. What is our market share? What is the price we're getting at the packer level? So I don't like to use the word fully integrated, but it seems like, we're trying to help these guys get as much information as they can at every level and to make a good decision.
And all of this helps our community, not just the farmers and the businesses, but helps our community in revenue as well as jobs in every aspect.
It's not just the guy that's selling the pig. There's a lot of people out in the industry that only own a barn where the wean to finish happens, right?
Sure.
But they don't own any of the pigs. There's also the grain farmer that sells product to the elevator that doesn't have anything to do with the pigs, but it's a full circle in terms of the builder, the building owner, the grain farmer, the people that work at the elevators, people that sell LP to keep, those things. I mean,
Incredible.
There's a full circle impact that, the pig really has on the local economy. Give people like me a job, I have a history in the industry, but, I'm a financial econ major, so the ability to come back and use what I learned at school is a big benefit and something that I enjoyed to come back to community. So.
Well, and I think we've already stated, but the number of people employed in the industry in our community is astronomical.
Just the farms that we work with through the Fairmont Vet Clinic and PCM, PCM itself oversees the HR and training and such for over 200 employees that are on the farms, and you could about double that with the farms that we work with maybe as a vet clinic that aren't necessarily getting management services from our companies.
Sure.
So, we impact about 2 million pigs.
Amazing. So I see you have something there on the table. What do you got there?
Yeah, so we brought just some pictures and some video. We've had some new construction in the last 4 years. There's a flyover of a new site. It's part of the genetic group.
Let's take a look. So what are we looking at when we look at this?
So this would be a farrowing barn and a gestation barn. Gestation is where obviously the animal, where she gets pregnant, where she's bred, and then the farrowing barn is where they have the baby pigs. And
yeah, so the cycle of the pig, it only takes 6 months to raise a pig from birth to market, which is amazing because it's about 300 pounds. When it gets to market, it starts at about 3 pounds. So quite a high growth rate. And then when the animal's about 7 to 8 months old, we can use those breeding females for inseminating, getting pregnant, and then starting to raise the next generation of pigs. And we have specialized genetic lines that we use for the breeding stock on the sow farms. The video and a couple of these pictures Mike brought along kind of describe the facility inside. A lot of the folks walking the sidewalks of Fairmont don't get to go in a pig barn and get to see kind of what we're doing. And so we wanted to kind of explain that. And so some of the new facilities today, there's been an interest, again, among the consumer. This is a response really to the consumer, that we want some ability for that pig to choose kind of where it wants to be in the barn, right?
Yep.
And so where I'd say for the last probably 30 to 40 years, most of these pigs have been in stalls, and you can see stalls in the picture here. We also have a pen behind that stall that the animal has a choice whether it wants to lay in the stall or back up and go out into the pen. And when it's in the stall, the back of the stall closes so another sow or pig can't disturb it, can't get in a fight with it. But that animal can choose whether it wants to go out or be in. And so we call those free access stalls.
Well, a lot of thought has been put into this.
Yep, and it's a more costly facility design, but the benefit is, we think, a little bit in response really to the animal welfare concerns. And we want to be cognizant of that issue that's out there.
The old units used to be roughly 20 square feet per sow. The new units, the free access units we build, are 30 square feet per sow. Wow. So if we built the old barn for $2 million, it cost us $3 million, obviously, plus inflation. So it's a lot more cost, but I think it's got a lot of benefit too for the industry as a whole.
Absolutely.
We haven't seen so far any better production out of this model, but it's satisfied some requirements. We actually have, for instance, in California, they had a proposition that passed a year ago, and it's going to kick in here in a couple more years, where all pork coming into California needs to be certified with at least 24 square feet and free access pen type gestation. And so this would be a model that would be acceptable to California.
Do you think that will eventually hit the country?
Yeah, hard to say. It's been a little bit regionalized, I think, probably because of population centers. Sure. And I think as people get more removed from the farm, they maybe don't see all the advantages and the safety and some advantages for the pigs of actually having stalls, which are just individual pens. And so it's hard, it's been difficult, I'd say, for the pig industry to explain that, for pig farmers to take that story out. This is called our story. It's hard to get that story out, really, without bringing people into the barns, and it's hard to bring 300 million people into the barn.
Absolutely. And stating the obvious, but in the Midwest, we're all closer to the country, rural life, than they are in the big cities, and they're not aware of all the detail of what happened.
When my mom was raised and born in the late 30s, and at that time we had a disease called trichinosis in pigs. It's a worldwide disease. It was certainly in the U.S., and it was picked up by pigs that would be out on dirt, outside type of housing. And as we moved pigs inside into facilities, barns that have concrete slats, and got them into a cleaner environment, we've eliminated that disease from the U.S.
Interesting.
So one of the reasons Bill Crawford and others in the swine industry can push for 145 degree temp on your pork now with an internal temp on the thermometer is because we don't have that disease.
Wow.
And so we can have better pork. You can order your pork just like you do a steak. If you want it medium rare, order it medium rare. If you want it medium or well done, order it that. So there's been a lot of progress, but again, we don't always tell that story real well or in a way that people can understand it. And so some of that's on us. So hopefully this will be helpful.
So if someone wanted some more information or to look up your website and stuff, I'm assuming you have a website, Facebook and such?
Yep, we have both. So check us out on our website and like us on Facebook.
There you go.
Yep.
What do you think our grandparents would have thought of all of this with the way they raised livestock and the way they lived their life? I think they would be stunned.
They went from no electricity to electricity. I remember my dad's dad saying he traded his horses off for his first tractor.
Yeah.
So there's revolutions and evolutions in farming, and it'll continue. So yeah, it is a great question. What's it going to look like in another 2 generations?
Don't you wonder, we will look back at this time and go, wow, have we come a long way since then?
I'm sure we will,
It
Jeff.
changes all the time. Thank you for coming, gentlemen. Very interesting.
You're welcome.
Martin County on TV, a second look.
Well, there you have it, another episode of Martin County on TV. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we welcome you to tune in again. Thank our sponsors for making this happen, and remember, it's not just the past, but the present that tells our story.